go in leave.
And, yeah, so about, holy crap, look at that! Grats and Gits! We are freaking happy to be live. I see some people in the chat already. I see Ophir Baruch, who I mispronounced his name brutally, but I love him dearly. I see Jorge P. I see Chris S. Look at all of you beautiful men. I'm excited to have you here with us today. Mr. Shetzel, welcome. Welcome.
We are here. We are live. We are hype.
We are 100% hype, actually. Guys, there's some really cool stuff. We are not actually going to go through the entire Balance Dataslate and the entire everything, but what we're going to do today for everyone is myself and the big man himself, Mr. Shethel. We are going to talk about the biggest winners and the losers and why they're big winners and why they're big losers. And I know you may have heard some other people talk about some of these things, but you might be interested in some different and more unique takes on some of these things. So I'm freaking excited to get into it because personally, I think this is one of the better data slates we've seen, even though weirdly enough, I think it's one of the least impactful data slates we may have seen at the same time. Like, what's your overall view of it, Mr. Shuttle? Oh, and why don't you tell people who you are? Mr. Norwegian champion.
Well, now I can proudly say that I am the captain of the Norwegian WTC team.
What?
And I will be representing Norway as well in the WCW, having received the rank #1 ITC golden ticket.
Attaboy. So basically, you're Robin Williams.
I wouldn't put myself on equal terms with such a legend, but...
I don't know. If you've ever seen the Dead Poet Society, you could be captain, my captain. Anyway, guys, we're really excited for all of you guys to be here, and we're going to go through every single faction. So buckle in. Just a little bit of housekeeping stuff. I'm just going to tell you what generally happened in the data slate and what is still missing, because there are some things that are still missing. There will be more information next week, almost certainly. So first off, the data slate originally leaked. Some awesome legend decided to post the data slate on the Android app instead of schedule the data slate on the Android app. And once that happened, Games Workshop said, screw it, we'll just go and release it to everyone, which was the correct decision in my opinion. So that's why we have all this, but there are some actually like data sheet changes out there that we're not certain of how many data sheet changes there are, because I don't know about you guys, but I don't have the app updated on my iPhone. I've been trying. So there are going to be some changes.
There is no app updates, to be fair, until the 17th.
Right, so there are going to be some actual more things in here that we can't discover until we actually get the app update. Some of our guys who were able to get the update on their Androids for a little bit took a few screenshots, so we did get some information that was not included in the points or the Balance Data Slate. Like Tau got a change that was not included in anything, and we'll talk about some of that stuff. So there is actually going to be more information, and there will be, we assume there's also going to be 3 new detachment released as well, just like have been in the previous data slates. So the big changes, Challenger cards are gone. Shetzel, how do we feel about that?
I am so beyond pleased that the Challenger cards are gone, because they were the #1 factor in ruining the way I play my armies. Because I have a very aggressive, take the board, score everything, die later type thing. And any army that played like that, or any player that played like that, got really hurt by Challenger cards.
Wait, are you telling me that you didn't like getting punished for scoring points?
Yes.
Ridiculous.
I had a situation where my opponent got the Challenger and still ended up being 15 points ahead of me turn 2. But he also got the Challenger.
Ridiculous. So Challenger cards are gone. Now, personally, I actually would have preferred had they kept them, but only kept the stratagem part, and you can't do the secondary portion of it. So I thought that would have been actually kind of a cool compromise. But regardless, great change. Challenger cards, get out of here. Basically, what we got is we got a bunch of points changes, and we got some interesting data sheet changes. But like we said, there are some unlisted one and interesting, also very, very interesting. there's basically no detachment changes. I think there was one detachment change to stratagems, and that was it. So this was yeah. Go ahead.
Mm, no, go for it. I think you're correct.
Yeah, I think it was
'Cause I think
just
some-
the Imperial Knights that got detachment changes, and everything else was only points and a few data sheets. So like this was a relatively low impact balance status late, but it was also a good one. We did see some people get nuked into oblivion, which we're going to talk about, and we saw some people get actually very intelligently balanced, which we'll also talk about. Let's jump into it. Without further ado, guys, you see this little green check mark? We're going to put this next to armies and units that did good, and we're going to put the little red check mark next to things that did bad, and you're going to know who wins and who loses. So let's hop into it. Imperial Factions. We're going to start with these guys first. Sisters of Battle. Mr. Schetzel, do you know what happened to the Sisters of Battle?
Ultimately, I feel like there was no real change here. Like I think I think sisters were in a good place in general, and some better points is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know if people would take retributors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Retributors went down a little.
It's a very weird conditional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you do better if they've killed something of yours.
Yeah, it was
an
interesting
want to
cheat.
front load that kind of shooting, anyways, right? So it's like, I don't know.
I mean, it's a fluffy and cool change. Like they just get the +1 to hit, they get the +1 to wound. They're retributors. They're giving retribution. I actually think it's a pretty cool change. It's relatively fluffy, and it's not like breaking the bank at all. I thought that was a pretty cool change. Overall, Sisters got a few points buffs. Retributors went down a little bit. They got a couple other things that went down as well. Most of them weren't all that impactful, but I can read it for you exactly. You got St. Celestine, which went down by 10, which is, a lot of people like that. Astrid Thurga and Agathi Dolan went down by 15, and we saw the Imagifier go down by 10. What the heck does an Imagifier do? Do you know?
I believe it's a thing that does. It's like an ancient, but it manipulates the miracle dice when it's in. I think it's the auto 6 miracle dice.
Gotcha. Yeah, fair play. So listen, I personally think Sisters of Battles are happy. They were already in a pretty decent place. They didn't get hit at all, and they just got some nice quality of life points changes. And those points changes, maybe it allows them to make a slightly different build that they previously couldn't. It's not enough to get them a new unit or anything, but it might allow them to make a slightly different build that otherwise couldn't be run. So I think Sister players, super happy.
Yeah, like teams, we've seen Sisters do very well.
Yeah.
Singles, the faction specialists are actually doing quite decent with them, but there just aren't that many of them, right?
And thank you, Raymond. I know you love my PowerPoint, you dirty girl. These guys talking shit about my my technology skills in the background over there. Adeptus Custodes. This was a weird one for me. How'd you feel about it?
Well, I feel like there's a Custodes build now that seems somewhat terrifying for me.
Yeah, for you, for sure. Yeah.
It's that you can have 30 custodian guards at 1,200 points.
Yeah, because
that's not insignificant. That's not an insignificant amount of 3 wound 2 up 4 up invul guys.
It's not. It's definitely not, and it's 6 squads. There's probably real play. It's going to be running either Lions or Shield Host, basically nowhere else, I would imagine. But you're not wrong. Now they do still suffer from all the things that Custodes suffer from, flat 3 damage, AP3, things like that. But yeah, it's going to be terrifying into certain armies. I think like Admech probably hates them. Orcs really doesn't like it. There's a lot of armies that don't like it. It was weird though because they got minus 15 points to the guard squad, and then large squads of Sisters of Silence, specifically the prosecutors and the vigilators, went down. And those are just things that were never and will never be. Well, maybe you could make an argument for vigilators being taken in big squads, but only in one niche scenario. So it's just a really weird way for them to try to help Custodes out. I think ultimately, Custodes just need an 11th edition, to be honest with you. At this point, they're just trying to play only on stats, and that's a hard way to play the game.
Yeah, like stat check armies are either too good or not good enough, right?
Yeah, I think that's just basically what it is. It is worth mentioning they also got a slight points buff on their shield captain, the useless one. but that is what it is. So I guess they're happy.
I mean, nothing bad
No,
happened,
nothing
and
bad,
Challenger
nothing bad.
card. Nothing bad happened. Challenger cards are gone. That's
And they could have nerfed Trajan. They could have done it.
yeah. I mean, the way you have to think about it, right? Custodes right now can dominate the board with 30 Custodian Guard and
Yep.
then die eventually.
Yep.
But your opponent can't catch up anymore.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that actually also really helps Custodes right now is the fact that even though Imperial Knights are much killier and faster, they're significantly less durable, and that does open things up to Custodes.
Yes.
And in a very big way, they lost that stupid fight on Death Strat, which was the bane of existence of all melee armies. So Custodes might be feeling okay-ish here. Admech. Now you're the Admech guy. I'm gonna shut up. Tell me what happened to Admech.
One of Admech's main issues has never been points, right? It's never been the fact that you have a lot of units. It's the fact that you can't actually consistently kill anything. So what they did was that they gave Admech Oath of Moment tied to Belisarius Call.
It's kind of sick.
And that opens up a lot of options. A lot of options. One of the things that I have been experimenting with, for example, is looking at some of the data sheets that were almost there, but not quite. Because people have experimented with crit 5s in Halo Screed with things like this Corpus Cari Electro Priests.
Sure.
And it's been okay, but it's never been like great. Now they do 22 damage to a knight.
But before you break that down for everyone, because this is kind of crazy, I just want to give a big shout out to Mr. Trevor Redell with the $10 super chat. It says, "Caught you live. Thanks for all you do, fellas. Orcs back on the menu. Listen, the age of the orc has never been gone. It's just more likely to be the age of the orc now than it used to be. I love you. I appreciate the support, man. Thanks a bunch. It really means the world to us. Mr. Schetzel, please break down the math of these jazz hand nerds for everybody."
All right, so 30 attacks with full rerolls. You attach a Manipulus to them, they also have lethals. So lethal and sustain 2. You have a strat for crit on 5s with full rerolls. So you'll fish for the 5s no matter what, right? If you're shooting into a knight. They will be AP 1. Like, I'm just gonna assume no cover here just for the simplicity of it, right? Sure. So you get like a bucket of hits and lethals. And then after they've jumped out of the vehicle, the Dune Rider, they have fire support, so they also have reroll to wound. Yeah. So they guarantee kill armigers. I think they kill like something between 13 to 15 Marines in an activation. Oof. And whatever's left of those Marines is -2 to move, advance, and charge.
Oh, I actually didn't know they had that ability. That's gross.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
And then they do it again in melee, right?
And then they do it again in melee.
It's a ludicrous. How many points is that unit?
I think it's 140, 150 for the squad, and then 75 for the Manipulus and the enhancement that gives them extra range, because they're only range 12, up to 18 with the enhancement.
Right. That's a strong unit.
And then it's 85, I want to say, for the Dune Rider.
That's a strong unit. That's a strong unit. And then you have freaking chickens, of course.
Yep. They previously they were 1 last cannon shot each, but twin linked. Then they became 2 shots each and not twin linked. And now they got twin linked back. So them 2 will have full rerolls to hit with sustained, can crit on 5s in Halo, and reroll to wound. Which is quite significant when they now wound most knights on 3s. So they just became very reliable as well.
And they're hitting on 2s, right?
That depends on the detach, on like which doctrina you're in. But like if you do 4s, critting on 5s with full reroll in Conqueror with AP 4 last cannons, that means that your Rep-X is now dead, basically.
Yeah, that means basically anything they shoot. Because you could run a 3-man squad, that's 6 of them, right? Critting on
Yes.
5s, full rerolls to hit, thanks to our friend Belisari's call. That's going to get you out of 6 shots with full rerolls on 5s. I mean, you're going to get 8 hits, I think.
Something like that, yes.
I think about 8 hits, and then you're getting twin links on that, so you're going to convert 7 wounds. Even on a 4-up invuln, they're failing 3, las cannon shots, and that's no joke damage. That's like no joke damage, and that's with the 4-up invuln. Without the 4-up invuln, it's a lot.
Yeah, because the Repex doesn't have an invul, right?
Yeah.
So at most the Repex will be in cover with Armor of Contempt.
Yep.
So they'll be saving on 5s.
It's dead. Poof.
Yeah.
Poof. Massive anti-tank output. Yeah. I think that's huge, and there are several weapons that got changed.
Oh yeah, and then the infiltrators got AP1 on the taser goats, which is
matters a lot.
Fucking
actually.
Amazing.
Yeah.
No elf likes that change, and things that elves don't like, we like.
Because we hate elves in Happy Crumping Wargaming, and if you like elves, sorry to say, I hate what you like. I still love you. I just hate what you like.
The Rust Stalkers as well got a very interesting change, because now you actually have to consider what weapons you're using on them. Because before, the math just mathed out that the transonic blades were just the thing to do.
Yeah.
Which was the 5 attacks, strength 5, AP1, damage 1, precision, and dev wounds. Now the razors and cord claws have gotten changed.
That's a
to
lot.
Be 1 less attack, but damage 2. And that's significant. If you throw like a 5-man unit of that into a oafed target,
yeah,
they kill any marine skirmisher, basically.
There's basically
and a full unit of 10 of them with reroll hits and reroll 1s to wound. Do like, I think it's like 14 wounds in melee to a knight.
Whoa.
Which is not insignificant, considering that many of the shooting knights don't want to be in melee anyways, with like 10 models with 2 wounds each. And it's a nice, like, I'm gonna go out here and finish you off. And they also guarantee kill armigers with the knives and cord claws now, which is also very significant. So I'm like heavily debating on the composition of my Rust Stalkers now, which before just wasn't a thing.
Right.
Because Dev Wounds and Damage 1 is very good against things like Deathwing Knights.
Yeah, it's great.
But also Damage 2 into all other armies, like Marine Hordes and stuff like that. Like, there's decisions to make now.
Basically, the thing about AdMech right now is you get like 5 or 6 different units that can just take advantage of like sustain hits 1, sustain hits 2, sustain and lethal crits on 5s, 4 rolls to hit. It's pretty sick. So AdMech is a huge winner. I'm gonna give it 2 beautiful green check marks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we look at
AdMech also became one of the armies that have very consistent indirect now.
Oh, that's true. If you want to just quickly do that for people,
that could be very meta defining as well, because a lot of people haven't thought about like the Belarus energy cannon before, which is the indirect gun, which is 2d6, strength 7, AP2, damage 1, which becomes AP3 in Conqueror.
Right.
Which means that, elves don't like that. They kill at least, like, if you bring 2 of them, you guarantee kill an Aspect Warrior squad every turn, right?
That's actually really nice.
Which is significant, because they don't like that. That means that you can spend your indirect to remove all the secondary scoring pieces from your opponent. And in a traditional AdMech matchup, the AdMech player typically goes good on primary, bad on like secondary stuff. So you need good secondaries to keep up with them.
Sure.
And that might not happen now either, right?
Having good anti like MSU infantry indirect is actually very powerful in this meta right now. So I actually think that's a huge point you just made. Let's move on to Imperial Guard. Dorn's up, Baneblade's down, Leontis down, Ghost down. Engineers?
Guard are just still good. Engineers also went cheaper, but it's like Guard just good. In like the standard list you saw, you just take the Chimeras, turn them into Tauruxes, and nothing changed.
Gotcha. So basically, nothing happened to them. Everyone's probably gonna cry about Dorns going up, but
Except Challengers got away, which is
yeah,
perfect.
for sure. So people are gonna cry that Dorns went up, but like the reality is, it doesn't change anything because just as you said, you just exchange something for a Torox instead of Chimera, and you're good to go. Baneblades still can't really take them. It's really sad. I'd love to see them. I think with Leontos being able to order them, they're almost there, but they're just not quite there, and that's sad. It's sad, Shatel.
They're just not worth it. They don't do enough for the points.
Give them towering, baby. Give them towering.
Could be a thing to do.
I think you give them towering, and they're probably pretty much okay. Maybe they're still like a little bit tough, but like at that point, you can definitely run them. Raymond P saying it's not Night meta anymore. It's Baneblade meta now. You heard now, you freaking cowards. If it's not Baneblade meta, you're a coward. Baneblades for days, baby.
I wish, because I own 2 of them.
We have our biggest major of the year next weekend. And Shetel, if you don't bring a bunch of Baneblades, I'm going to be very disappointed in you, and I'm going to tell your mother.
Well, my mother doesn't speak English well, so that's fine.
I will butcher Norwegian. I'll do it. Don't think I won't. So guard is just fine. Not up, not down. They're just freaking fine. They're feeling totally okay. 50 Mike with the $5. We're gonna do a super chat real quick. I can take any good army and make them bad. It's my superpower. Listen, man, I bow down to your superpowers. I am astonished by your abilities, and you're 100% true. And thank you for the super chat, dear sir. This beer is for you.
Yeah, like Guard's a winner because everything else got weird changes, and Guard is just still very good.
You know what? Yeah, I guess they get a check mark. You're probably right because they're just generally happy with everything else that happened. Grey Knights, 0 changes at all.
Oh no, there was a very significant change.
What was
very significant change.
What was it?
The Brotherhood Chaplain got the leader keyword.
Oh, the Brotherhood Chaplain got the leader keyword, so now he can.
That's
lead
like
things.
3 check marks right there.
I'm not giving them a check mark for that. Now, personally, I do think Grey Knights have a lot more interesting things than what people have been thinking. I do think, unfortunately, they're a little bit locked to 1 or 2 detachments. But they have some fairly reasonably cool options. But yeah, just I don't know.
I just feel like Grey Knights need 1 or 2 extra units to play with.
But the problem is like, so all right. So I was talking to our buddy Emil about this, right? And they're like, strike squads are so overcosted. It's like, well, are they? Because it's still a 5-man squad with a 2-up armor save. They have sticky and they have scout, and in melee they've got 3 strength 6 AP2 damage 2 attacks, and that's their battle line unit. Is that actually overcosted? Not to mention they could just uppy downy whenever the heck they want. You're telling me that's not worth 120?
I don't think they are necessarily overcosted. Like
that's the problem.
Individual thing.
Yeah.
I think that there are too many things that can just handle straight up 2-up armor save things.
I don't disagree with you, right? But I don't think you can give them more units because their things are like really good, but they're just they're in custodian land.
I think if they had 1 or 2 more units of like smaller things, then they'd be fine. And that might be a thing they might just be able to do with like agents or something.
Maybe?
Right? If they include for themselves like a rogue trader entourage and navy breachers or something, so that they can like loan up or like 18-inch grenade a loan up unit, so they don't have to expose an expensive Grey Knight unit to kill a loan up on an objective for the skirmishing part, right?
Maybe.
Like, there are things they might be able to do there. That's fine, right?
Perhaps.
Also, Mike, you're not allowed to drop Rogel Dorns.
No, Mike. If you drop the Rogel and you run Beyblades, I'll love you forever. But also, listen to Shetzel. He's telling you better advice. Okay. Imperial Agents, Deathwatch kill team, and the Watchmaster went down, and they still don't have an army rule. They fail just because they fail. And it's not their fault. It's GW's fault.
So I have a question.
Yeah, ask me the question.
Also, Grey Knight should get an X, probably, just because like they needed something.
And they didn't get it. I can live with that. Not like 2 X's, but they get an X. Fair.
like a little X, because people felt they needed something. So I have a question for this. Does this also change the cost in Index Deathwatch for those units?
Well, Deathwatch got their own changes. Deathwatch Index did get their own points changes. So it's already fixed.
Right. Yeah, because they're not here in the Imperial Factions, right?
Right. So Index Deathwatch actually already got their own changes as well. Okay. Luis Gustavo, I'll never change your mind. I agree. Agents aren't a real army, and I get like hate mail for saying that, but like the reality is, guys, I sympathize with you. I'm not saying that to make fun of you guys who play Imperial Agents. I actually sympathize with you. I say that because I hope one day GW hears this shit and actually fixes it. Like that's why I say it. No, Spring Roll, I didn't miss that Land Raiders go down by 20 points. Literally every Land Raider in the game went down by 20 points. So, well, I was just going to say that later, but thanks for saying that. Yeah, sorry, Shadow, go ahead.
Yeah, because like, I am so confused about like why this coupling is still a thing. Like, I don't like it doesn't change anything. Like
No.
it's not real. It's not real.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But that being said, the next change.
And also, did the points go down for only being used in the agents, or did it go down for also requisitioning them?
If I remember correctly, it was only agents, but I can check real fast.
Because that might be a thing.
You know, you're right. I should. Let's check that real fast to make sure, because that's actually a really good question. Imperial agents. Oh, it should be down here. I'm scrolling, everybody. Bear with me here.
Control F, Jonathan. Control F.
Well, no, because I'm a boomer, and I'm not allowed to do things like that. I'm actually not a boomer. All right, here we go. Agents of the Imperium. Just only Agents of the Imperium. It didn't go, not for every model has the Imperial keyword.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which actually, because you're right, that very well could have mattered.
Because if that was a thing, then it's like,
Yeah, could be. All right, Imperial Knights. So, guys, this is one where Imperial Knight players are probably sad and happy at the same time, because they definitely lost out in this Balance Dataslate. But at the same time, they're probably happy because the Codex is so bonkers busted and overtuned that it wouldn't be fun for them to play against people because there just wouldn't be a game. That being said, I actually. Even you go, though you just heard the words that came out of my mouth, I also think there was more gameplay into Imperial Knights than what pretty much everyone else thinks. I think that there
and also like this is a change that happened to something nobody has actually gotten to play with,
which is great.
Like, I mean the Codex has been leaked and people have played with it, but nobody's like actually like used it anywhere yet, right?
Right, exactly. So basically for the Imperial Knights, they had a lot of slight points buffs. So like the Helverins went back to 140, the Warglaives went back to 140, Castellan went back down to 410. I hate all of that. There's no reason for any of those things to have gone down. But some of the things went up in points. The Crusader went up in 20. All of the Forge World stuff went up by 30 to 40 points. And all of the enhancements went up, except for like one of them. So
it should be said though that when you look at the costs in an MFM for an army that has gotten a codex, those point changes are relative to what it was in the codex.
That's true.
So a Knight Castellan before the slate was 410 as well. It just looks like it went down because it went down relative to the codex points.
Well,
so none of the Knight points have actually changed. Relative to how it was before the slate.
This is why
Knights are the same points now. So Knights are the same points now as they were before.
This is why I bring you with me, to keep me not stupid. And I appreciate you. And you're beautiful. And your big beard is fuzzy and amazing. So, they did get an actual detachment change. And they are, I think, the only detachment that was changed. Although someone in chat said that the Votan Grotmus detachment got a change. And so I'll check that out. Thank you for giving me the heads up. Because I missed that one. So, we're looking at the big ol' Imperial Knights detachment changes. Thank goodness they changed this. Bold Gallantry Detachment Rule. Each time an Imperial Knights unit from your army advances, they get assault. It used to be that they could advance and they could re-roll the advance roll and still have assault. So the speed went down a little bit. And
the speed went down significantly.
Re-rolling advance rolls is significant. You're not wrong about that. And then they had 3 stratagems, and I don't quite remember which each stratagem was which, so Mr. Schetzel is going to clear you up on that one. But basically, each one of these stratagems would have affected 3 knights, and now it only affects 1, and that's a huge change. So Schetzel, if you wouldn't mind telling us what those stratagems are.
So run them through was Lance. And the way all of these 3 stratagems worked was that you picked a point on the battlefield, and then up to 3 knights within 9 of that point, you just a random point on the battlefield. So an 18-inch diameter sphere of all of these get this buff for 1 CP. Now, all of them have been changed to just 1 knight, which is very good. Because the big one was full tilt. Full tilt is 2 CP, but that's, a turn to stand everywhere on the map kind of thing. Because it added 2 to the move and 2 to the advanced characteristic.
So strong.
For, 3 big knights. Right. And then...
+4 with reroll advances. With advantage.
Yeah. So it was Lance for run through. It was Lethals for Vow of Retribution. And it was +2 a move in advance.
My goodness gracious.
This is a good change.
Yeah.
It is a significant nerf to the ridiculousness of the Valor Strike detachment.
Now, they're still very strong. And there's no doubt that Imperial Knights... But I'm going to give everyone some hope against Imperial Knights right now. There's no doubt that they're faster. And there's no doubt that they hit harder. But each big knight has lost the equivalent of 5 wounds from dropping the Feel No Pain. Which means there are a lot more armies which can just pick up 2 knights in a turn. And that means...
You're never going to get scammed now.
And that means that the Imperial Knight players can't just put 5 knights in front of you and say, can you deal with me? Because the answer is yes, they can be dealt with now. So they are going to have to at least actually play Warhammer, whereas previously they would just put their balls on the table and said, get wrecked, nerd. So now they're going to have to at least play the game. So even though, yes, they are too strong, and we're going to have to deal with them for a while longer, they are very, very... they're at least playing the same game as you now, and that's a very, very good thing. So I do like that. So I'm going to give them a red X and a green check mark. Do you agree with this? Because it's good for everyone, and they're not super happy because they get weaker.
Yeah, I mean they're a loser, but they're also a winner in that.
That's all that happens.
that's it,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they get both. All right.
Because this was just one detachment that got nerfed, and it wasn't even the detachment that I was looking at.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. And we actually see some guys in the Discord, in the chat right now, shouting out the Discord. Guys, I actually love the Discord. I love the community that's been built there, and I love the fact that a lot of you guys are a part of it, and all the friendships and stuff that we've made there, and all the constant bickering and meeting of minds that happens in there. So if you guys are not a part of the members Discord, you should join the members Discord. That's really where all the action happens. I probably really just need to close the free section because we do everything in the members section anyway. So we'd love to have you. If you wanted to join that, you can do that by becoming a member of the channel here on YouTube or on Coffee, which is in the links in the descriptions down below. Either way, when you join the Discord, just link your account to Discord itself, and the bot will automatically give you your role, and then you will get to banter and list build and yell at Felix with the rest of us. So that's a big plus. You get to yell at Cooper, so that's a big part of it. And GB3, he says he's lying. Johnny bullies us all in Discord. Bitch, I'll bully you right here.
No, I bully people in Discord. That's my job.
Oh, I love you, GB. But yeah, I'll bully you right here. And they want to nerf Ian the mod. I agree, we should nerf Ian the mod. He's getting too darn strong. Mad respect. I'm really proud of him. He's been working on his fitness. He's been getting really strong, which is cool. All right, let's talk about Space Marines. Shetzel, I want to hear your opinion on vanilla Space Marines. Generally speaking, points, some went up, some went down. What do you think what happened to the vanilla Space Marines?
Well, So there's a weird thing here that if TOs are nice and this also gets fixed on Wednesday, then it's fine. Because there's a list in the FAQ section now. I don't know if you've seen it. There's a list in the FAQ section that says which detachments are counted as a Codex Space Marines detachment for the purpose of the +1 wound from Awful Moments. And the 2 new detachments that are now legal to use do not count as a Codex Space Marine detachment based on that list. So they don't technically get the +1 to wound. Which is probably a mistake. Because the Salamanders one has it, I think. And if that one gets it, these should also get. So I think that's probably an oversight. Due to the fact that this was like a, whoops, we made a fucky wucky kind of release of the slate. So I assume on the 17th that they will implement that. And if we go by that assumption, I think that Codex compliant Marine chapters are fine.
Where was that? I didn't see that.
I think I can post it later.
Okay, cheers.
It's part of the FAQ section of it.
Okay.
It's either in the rules commentary or in the Codex Space Marine FAQ.
Okay, cheers.
But like if we let's just assume they get +1 because I think it would be weird if they didn't.
Yeah.
And then there's interesting things there. Gladius is obviously still Gladius. Ironstorm is still Ironstorm. But there's looking at the points of the new characters, especially the Raven Guard ones.
Yeah.
There's things you can do there that seems interesting.
Yeah.
I also think like just like pure Ultramarines with like Gilliman and stuff is just still like it's just solid Warhammer, right? I don't think there's any significant changes here.
So let me hop in here on that one because yeah. I think there is, and we already know that Space Marines were really just first off, real quick, Mr. 50 Mike with the $10 discount or the $10 discount, $10 super chat. Appreciate you. He wants me to donate 2 memberships to people for Discord. I have sent a message to YouTube to try to get them to allow me to enable like membership gifting. So I'm gonna try to figure that out. And you're a beautiful man, and I will take care of this. So thank you so much for the support. Love it. But when I look at Space Marines here, what I see some points buffs on the Land Raider and the Land Raider Redemptor. First off, it doesn't matter for the Land Raider. The basic Land Raider needs move 12. That's what it needs. Move 10 is not enough. It doesn't need points reductions. It needs move 12. The Redemptor at 270 is still 270 points. Aggressors went down by 20 for a 6-man, which that might be significant.
Is the Redemptor Dreadnought 270?
No, sorry, the Redeemer. The Redeemer went down by 15, so it's 270. Sorry, Land Raider Redeemer is what I meant to say. Okay. Forgive me. The Redemptor Dreadnought went down by 15 to 195 points, which it's still only a strength 9 damage 3 d6 plus 1 blast gun. Like, it's still
is that a gun that helped Marines that they couldn't handle with something they couldn't handle with like other data sheets?
I mean, dude, it's strength 9, so it's not even winning Terminators on 2s. Like, it's
with +1 to wound, it does.
Well, yeah, sure. With +1 to wound, it does. But that means that he himself I don't know if that changes anything. And then when we look at the actual points and nerfs they got, 10-man JPI went up by 10 points, which is crazy because we're not really seeing that. 6-man Blade Guard Vets went up by 10 points, which I think that's probably because of Blood Angels. And then Gulliman went up by 20 points. So it's like, and oh yeah, and the Ballistas went up by 10 points to 150, which is kind of freaking wild. Like, I don't see any buff for Space Marines here, and Space Marines were already a really struggling faction. I think vanilla Space Marines got boned here. I think they got boned here.
I mean, they certainly didn't need nerfs. I think they're just like honest Warhammer like if you're a good player, you can do well with them. But at this point, why would you not be any kind of like divergent chapter, right?
Yeah, it just like even Ultramarines used to be better than some of the divergent chapters, but now they're definitely not. So
there might be some play if you bring like Shrike and the new guy, right?
maybe, but I don't think so, man. I think those detachments are trash. Even though I think the new guy Athon Shan is amazing, I think the detachment's kind of trash. But I would love to be proven wrong. By the way, I would love to be proven wrong by people. I can't think of how this is anything but a loss for Space Marines, because at best you could argue they got a side grade, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that's got to be a loss. Black Templars, absolutely no change. That means they scammed the system, and they're very happy. I'm actually pretty surprised by that. Like the fact the rep X is as good as it is just crazy.
Bro, like they don't need Oath in Black Templars because every single data sheet has 0 to hits built in. Like, what is this? What game are we playing here?
I can't believe like, Black Templars dodge, dude. I can't believe that.
I mean, okay, so they have strength 4 on all the chainswords with +1 to wound, even against other toughness 4 things.
Yeah, it's not even.
It's not toughness higher. It's higher or equal.
It's bonkers, dude.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
It's absolutely bonkers. Oh man, Space Wolves though got hit actually a little harder than I thought they would. Even though I don't think it's a significantly hard hit, it's going to force you to change one of your units into another one. But it was actually more than I thought they would get.
Yeah, like this sort of came out of nowhere, I think. But I think it specifically nerfs, like the build that I was running.
Yeah, because you've been running, right?
Yeah. Like this feels targeted towards the build that I was running, which was like a somewhat of a copy of Olivier's thing from the WTC. Like, but I think it's fine. I think you just absorb those changes.
Yeah.
Because it's like maybe you just drop Thunderwolves now, and do other things, and then.
Do you drop Thunderwolves now? Because I mean, they were absurdly cheap for what they were. Now aren't they just like fairly priced?
They've kind of been like the most underwhelming unit in that army.
Okay.
Like at least the way I'm using them, they've not almost everything else has been more effective than them. So it's like just more stuff.
Ultimately, I think I agree with you. I think Space Wolves are super happy, or I mean, I think they're not super happy. I think they're a little frustrated. This is probably a little bit more than they expected, but ultimately the army's fine because Space Wolves are already just real good.
Space Wolves weren't a problem, so why did this happen? Like,
Blood Angels. So Blood Angels get one heck of a side grade, which really throws us through a loop. We're not sure where to go from here. Sangard, which were the 3-man was definitely too cheap at 110. So it should have gone up, but the 6-man was basically perfect at 240. There was no reason for it to go back up to 260. But so Sanguinary Guard went up in cost, but at the same time, we also saw Sanguinary Guard get Weapon Skill 2 base instead of Weapon Skill 3, which is actually a very profound change. So I think this is a solid side grade here. I think it opens up the ability to play different types of builds. And in addition to this, the Sanguinary Guard Spear is now 4 attacks instead of 3 attacks, which means it's an actual alternative to the Sanguinary Guard Sword. The difference being the Spear has Lance and AP2, where the Sword does not have Lance, but it's AP3. So I think you could make an argument for actually running Spears now, which is really interesting. It opens up new builds. I don't think Blood Angels are sad. I don't think they're happy. I'm sure there are individuals who are sad or happy, but ultimately, I think they're just like perfect definition of side grade here. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think that's fine. Like we discussed a lot of things this morning. This morning.
Yep.
And like, it's just it's a new reality that you have to adjust for, right?
New realities, man. New realities.
There's nothing there that's like breaks the back.
Yeah. And then we move on to the Dark Angels, the angels who definitely got the better of things. I'm not sure people see how profound this actually is. The Dark Shroud did go down by 15 points, which I don't think that matters. I mean, maybe someone will take a Dark Shroud now that previously wouldn't have, but I don't think it's a big deal. The Landspeeder Vengeance got +1 damage, which I still don't think you'll see it, but maybe now it's an actual option because it can do like some blast with damage 3 from 36 inches away. But the real one is that the Lion is going to have 2 auras now. And
like the most significant thing of that is that you'll just be super safe if you do the uppy downy and rapid now. You can't just get grenaded and tank shocked away when you do it now.
Don't have to worry about getting grenaded, tank shocked away. You don't have to be worried about getting mortal wounded from a charge, because you can just come down with mortal wound protection. Or, and the one I like a lot more, guys, is if you guys don't know how the Lion works, it's in the command phase, he gets to go into reserves. He doesn't have to come down immediately, which means if I go first, I can rapid ingress him in your turn 1, which is crazy. But so now, since he gets 2 auras, I can have him pop up using his ability to pop up into reserves, and then I can also give him a 6-inch aura of reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1, so when he comes down with his rapid ingress, he's ready to heroic intervene. Fight first, with 16 attacks at strength 6, AP 3, damage 2, rerolling hit rolls of 1 to hit and wound, and has sustained hits on it. And if I'm playing Unforgiven, it can also be lethal hits and crits on 5s. Unforgiven is actually very interesting to me right now. So I think Dark Angels, boom, 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 they got pretty happy from that, even though the points changes, we didn't see what we kind of thought we might see. I think Dark Angels are pretty darn happy. Mr. Bobby Scott in chat wanted to know Shetzel's take on the Dark Angels, if you had anything else to say about them.
No, I have been quite a big fan of the Dark Angels before. I am going to prepare this for Jonathan going forward now. So, you know.
You might see me running them at a major next week.
Like I think they're just solid. If anything, they get a little bit sideswiped by the ballistas going up and Blade Guard vets going up potentially, but it's like, did you take those? Maybe it's like.
I think the ballistas is a little bit of a problem, just because if you needed those extra points, it was always reasonable to turn your Lancer into a ballistas.
Right.
Like, it might not be what you wanted to do, but it was always reasonable. Now that's really not nearly as reasonable. So maybe that is a little bit of an issue, but the Lion being, that's a big deal. I think Dark Angels are happy. And one of the other things that happened to Dark Angels, which Shetzel and I were really talking about earlier, is now Necrons are no longer a big problem for Dark Angels. Because if you're playing Wrath of the Rock, where your entire army is effectively -1 to be wounded, this is a little foreshadowing, but the Silent King no longer ignores modifiers. And that is a world of difference into one of the tougher matchups that Dark Angels actually had. So that's interesting. So I think Dark Angels are pretty happy right now.
You go from potentially losing the entire unit, to maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I think he was referencing like what happens if a DDA shoots a unit of Deathwing Knights, because now they're not one-tapping you and they're -1 to wound you, because they're not ignoring that anymore. So that's a big deal. So yeah, Dark Angels are happy. And then Deathwatch. Deathwatch actually had a lot of points drops, man. Did you see how many points drops they had?
Yeah, I actually talked to one of the Team Norway prospects, Ola.
Oh, cool.
About it earlier now, because he wants to try and get into Deathwatch.
Oh, dope. I love that.
I was like, wait, they cost how much now? And I was like, wait, they cost how much now? Like 20 points drops on like almost every single unit.
Dude, I think they legit got like 120 points back in the army, which is really sick.
Yeah, it's like you add a hammer strike now, like
straight up.
Okay.
Yeah. It's profound, man. It's really profound. I would love to play Deathwatch, but honestly, I'm not gonna build all the kill teams. I'm just not gonna do it. But basically, yeah, just like they got the Deathwatch veterans, and the Watchmaster also went down by 10 points, as so did Imperial agents. But the Fortis kill team, the Indomitor kill team, and the Spectrus kill team all went down by 20, and the Talon Strike also went down by 15. So it's like you're legit saving anywhere between 80 and 120 points based off of what you were building here, and that's a lot.
Getting straight up an extra unit on an army that was previously like very tight on units is significant.
And the army is going straight up from a maximum 11 unit army to now a 12 unit army, and that is a huge difference in gameplay. So
Yeah, because like 12, 13 units is kind of where you want to be generally.
Mm-hmm. Whereas 11's like the minimal for viability almost. So it's like, so yeah, I think they're super happy.
Yep.
Do we get some check marks here? Let's give some check marks here. And they were actually already pretty good. I kind of expect big things from Deathwatch, to be honest. I would be comfortable giving them double check marks. I don't know how you feel about that.
In the Space Marine category, they are definitely like the double check mark.
They're the biggest winner for the Space Marines. And speaking of categories, let's talk about chaos. Chaos. A lot of things happened in the chaos category. Some people's feelings got hurt in the chaos category. Some people are very excited in the chaos category. Who's it going to be?
Well, the people that are sad,
Yeah.
you deserve it. I'm just gonna. You deserve it.
You just deserve it.
You deserve what happened to you now. I have no remorse saying that. You earned this.
You know what you did. So demons got effectively no changes. That's kind of a shame. I would have liked to see some of the little demons get a little bit cheaper. But
it's like they actually remembered that Legion of Excess was an actual army, which is nice.
But it doesn't matter.
I talked with Eirik a bit, and that like the fiends being cheaper might actually like be a thing that sees them included
Could be
in the other detachments now, because that's kind of been like a thing demons has needed. It's like a skirmishing unit to just go kill JPIs, right?
Yeah.
I think that if the Legion of Excess detachment rule had to be changed, it should have been reroll ones to hit and full reroll wounds, not full reroll hits and ones to wound.
Yeah, I think.
But that detachment also just suffers from the multiple hits that just points, and the detachment doesn't really solve it.
Yeah.
I think that the wound sharing thing that they nerfed is the big one.
So
yeah.
I was talking to my brother about it, and he actually said something that I thought was very correct. And he was talking about this, the Keeper Secrets. He's like, listen, the Keeper Secrets didn't need to go down to 270. Its problem wasn't that it was 290 points. Its problem is that it's a glass cannon that doesn't hit hard and dies, and it's still a glass cannon.
Yeah.
like what they needed is a 5 field of pain. But instead, it has a 3 of armor save, which is a completely different story. I was like, yeah, dude, I basically completely agree. So honestly, if I was a demon player, I mean, it's technically not a nerf, but like, I would be disappointed enough to actually include an X on it. I think I'd rather have no changes than have that. I don't know. Call. I don't know, but anyway.
Yeah, like neither. They did get a nerf, as Rune rightfully points out. The Dark Commune is now 10 points more expensive, and most Shadow Legion lists ran at least one of them. So
yeah,
the demons have been hit by a bit of a whammy in the lists that were used.
Yep.
And they didn't get buffs that were significant enough to change the uses.
Yeah, so I think they actually do get an X. I agree. I actually think they do get a little bit of an X here. Now oh no, I deleted something I didn't mean to delete. It's fine. I know how technology works. I'm gonna give him an X, man. I'm gonna give him an X. Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights basically get no changes at all. The strat in Infernal Lance went to they get a 5-up invuln or a 6-up Feel No Pain, not both. No, that's nice.
That's just a thing that just needed to happen, because now there's 4 choices instead of 3. Like it's like
5-0 Mike
just needed to happen.
5-0 Mike just wrote something in the chat that just it burns my skull. He did it.
Yeah,
bro, he did it.
Yeah,
he did it.
We're just not gonna. Yeah.
Ian, did I give you moderator privileges? Yeah. So then the Lords of Dread, the sticky with the OC5 sticky objective thing, went to the command phase, not just in the movement phase, and that's a pretty big nerf for the army. It's still very strong strat, but
that is significant.
It is significant.
Because that strat alone, working in any phase, was like the big thing about that detachment. Now that it's command phase only, I see no reason to run it over like Infernal. but like maybe the other detachments become more interesting now, right?
Maybe. Maybe. I do kind of disagree with that though. I actually actively think that there's a lot more to that. Like, dude, you still have a -1 damage on a big knight. You still have full rerolls to hit and wound against like freaking other Titanic units, or reroll ones to hit and wound against monster vehicles. So I think there was a lot more to it than that, and the enhancements were amazing. But I do hear some people doing about it.
Like that was like the one big differential thing. Because like if you need damage in Chaos Knights, Infernal is like the obvious go-to, right? Like, I'm not saying that Lords of Dread isn't a thing anymore, because it's still there. It still has amazing enhancements, and you wish you could take every single enhancement. But the one big differential maker in that detachment was that you could use it in any phase, and it was such a good thing to do. Now that's just not a thing anymore.
Fair play. And then the Abominates, you can no longer stack their auras, which is totally reasonable.
Although I should say, like, considering that this was the only change, I mean that's basically a check mark, I think.
Oh, you know what? I think I completely agree. Like, I'm just just 100% agree with you. Like, they Chaos Knights were already so good that like you're just correct. I'm just gonna eat the fact that I was stupid there, and you're just right. Like, Chaos Knights are very, very, very happy with those changes because they probably needed more changes than that. That being said,
people just haven't picked up on just how.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the Discord earlier. It's like, I don't think Chaos Knights have spread to the world. They have been kind of localized to individual metas where they dominate, but the world hasn't really seen them.
Yeah,
really
they haven't seen like 108 damage 2 shots with AP2 coming their way.
Yeah, so then we go on to CSM, who got no rules changes, but they did get some minor points changes. Oh my gosh, they're all doing it now. Ian, start timing people out. Start it. Raymond, you owe me a beer for this. CSM, so they get some minor points changes. So the Dark Commune went up by 10 points, as we said. Abaddon went down by 10. Venom Crawler went down by 10. Land Raider went down by 20. I actually really like Venom Crawlers. And in Renegade Raiders, I really like them at 110 instead of 120, because now those dudes are going to AP2 with their guns. They're just getting the assault. I actually think Venom Crawlers are pretty sick at 110, to be honest with you.
I mean 330 points for that kind of investment into that kind of thing. That's not bad.
I love Venom Crawlers at 110. I honestly think that if you're a CSM player and you own Venom Crawlers, now's your time. Like, you should be. I think
every single CSM player owns 3 Venom Crawlers, because that's what you had to buy to get Obliterators.
Oh, fair play. That's true. That's true. Bible Mike apologizes with his $5 super chat. I will drink your apology, and I appreciate you. I love you. And but yeah. So I think I love the fact that Venom Crawlers went down. I love the fact that Abaddon went down. I would like to see Abaddon go down another probably 15, to be honest with you. But I think Abaddon's pretty solid. I think Chaos Space Marines are generally okay with this.
There are so many builds in CSM.
There just are, man.
That aren't being explored, right?
I mean, if you're running triple ACDC, the build went up by 30 points. It's not going to change whether or not you're going to run ACDC.
And then it went down 10 for Abaddon.
Yeah, so it's like...
Realistically, it went up like 20.
So it's not...
Forge feeds weren't hit and stuff. So
yeah, so if you want to run triple ACDC, it's not changing what you're going to do. So it's like, I think Chaos Space Marines should just be generally fairly pleased with it. There's definitely better things they could have done. I'm not saying this is the end all be all for what Chaos Space Marines should have, but yeah, I think we agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Dope. I love it. Death Guard, no changes at all. Biggest winner of the entire freaking thing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like, holy crap. I can't believe that Death Guard got no more changes. Like,
and the fact that not the next one, but the one after that, the things that happened there,
yeah,
was also like a buff to Death Guard.
Yeah, that's true. Because Knights got easier to kill. Like, I think Death Guard are just super happy right now. Although I will say, Dark Angels are good into Death Guard, and that makes me happy. That has nothing to do with relevance anywhere else. It just makes me happy. So I figured I was going to say it. Mr. 50 Mike, The boys are back. All it took was him buying 6,000 points of Eldar, and then the boys get the orcs get buffed again. We thank you for your service, Mike. Yes, you should know never to mess around with the pointy ears. Oh, jeez. Emperor's Children. What do you think about the Emperor's Children changes?
Fulgrim cheaper and being able to move through 4-inch or less terrain is dependent on where you play.
Yes.
Because GW open terrain typically isn't that much taller than 4 inches. A lot of their ruins are actually 4 inches or less in many of the points. So if you play on GW open terrain with the typical terrain that I've seen there and played with, on like the WCW, Fulgrim can now basically walk through walls.
Yeah, and that's huge.
Which is big.
He moves 14. He advances and charges and shoots.
Yeah. I don't know how significant the Flawless Blade buff is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it is an extra attack.
And bro, it's like 25% increase in damage.
Yeah,
like, that's huge.
But it's like
for no points increase.
Yeah, but you know, it's like they say, 25% more than 0 is still 0, right? Not saying that their damage was 0.
Yeah, I guess.
Just that, you know.
Sure.
Is it a polished turd, or is it significant now? I think we saw the Polish run it because they expected Coterie to be nerfed.
Yep.
At Norwegian Masters. But then it kind of didn't. So it's like, are Flawless Blades in the Peerless? Is it Peerless Blades? Flawless Blades.
Peerless Bladesman, I think. I think it's called Peerless Bladesman.
So, same shit, right? But that one detachment, right? Because that's a good detachment, right?
Yeah, it is.
Is it better than Coterie?
Yeah, Peerless Blades.
And I think that the more people get used to playing Coterie and not giving them a free pledge turn 1, and how much that actually screws with the Emperor's Children game plan, I think a lot of people might actually turn towards Peerless Bladesman.
Mm-hmm.
In which case a unit of Flawless Blades might be okay.
Could be.
I don't know. Like I am not too. I'm not experienced enough with them or playing against them even to properly judge that.
I think it definitely opens up something new to explore without a doubt, and it's not worth ignoring. Like it's not something that you're going to ignore, which is a positive. I think Fulgrim was already better than people said he was. I understand it's hard to move. Yeah. I get like people are going to at me all the time, but he was already better than what people said he was. I think at 25 points less, and now he can just move through walls on GW terrain. I think Fulgrim's probably straight up decent now.
Yeah, but there were also some point nerfs in there, right?
Only the Lord Cacophonous, and he went from 60 points for 70 points, and honestly, I think that's fine.
Him?
You would see 1, and guess what? You're still gonna see 1. Like it doesn't change anything. So like I already know that people are gonna be mad about that, but like the reality is your character who gives sustained hits to an incredible shooting unit went from 60 points to 70 points. Yes, I understand you're not pleased with that. But now you have new options in your codex that you didn't previously have. I think you won. How do you feel about
that? I think you're probably correct. I mean, there's nothing but buffs here, right? So it's like.
Ruin is trying to tell us that on GW terrain, Fulgrim's new rule has 0 effect. Makes no sense. I played on GW terrain.
That depends on what you mean by GW terrain. If you're talking about the TTS map, the TTS maps are not what people are playing with in real life.
Right.
In real life, people are playing with the ruin sets that they have. Like
correct.
And those have many parts of them, if not like full terrain bricks that are not 4-inch tall.
I have seen. I've been to a lot of places that have had many parts of their terrain that is 4 inches or less in height. I have been to many places in the United States that have had terrain that is 4 inches or less in height. I've been to many places in Europe that have terrain that is 4 inches or less in height. So I just don't agree with you, bud. I love you, but I don't agree with you.
And even on WTC terrain,
2.5 inches.
Yeah, like
Yep.
you can get like the small parts on the small L's. So it's like,
So I think they get a small happy.
Yeah.
I don't think they're like ecstatic. They're not jumping for joy, but I think you should be relatively smallly happy with that one because now you have a new
Yeah.
unit to actually explore. Your Primarch is arguably usable now, which it previously wasn't. Does this mean that you're jumping for joy and you're like blah blah blah? Yes, no, it doesn't. But does it also mean that like the world has ended because the cacophonous went up by 10 points? No. As a matter of fact, I saw a lot of the hyper competitive lists that were running no cacophonous. So.
And also challenger cards being gone is good for an army that wants to pressure you early.
Real good for pressure armies, no doubt about it. Thousand Suns. Whew.
Oy.
Basically, all the good stuff went up in points, except for Scarab Cult Terminators, which I agree were good, and they went down in points, so they got buffed.
Yep.
But Magnus went up, Infernal Master went up, Sorcerer went up, everything went up, which would have been fine, because realistically, T-Suns needed to lose a full unit at least. But then, in addition to that, in classic GW manner, GW decided, no, you know what, we're going to nerf you on multiple fronts. And also nerfed their army rule, saying you cannot re-attempt a failed cast. Now, I don't know exactly how impactful this is going to be, because I think it more...
That is very impactful.
Well, I recognize that it's a big nerf. What I'm trying to say is, does it mean that you're just not going to be able to cast things now, or does it mean that you're just going to have to risk the mortal wounds from adding the third dice? Right? That's what I'm trying to ask.
It means that you need to risk the mortal wound.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you still just roll it afterwards anyway, so it's like somewhat safe.
Yeah.
But you run the risk of you run the risk of like not being able to get the move off at all. Because if you failed it, you had another chance to get the move again, right? So you had reliability,
sure,
even though you had to risk more things happening.
No, I recognize that it's significant. I'm just saying I'm not sure how significant it is. And I do recognize at the same time that T-Suns have relatively good play into a bunch of the things that were really good that are actually even more fragile now. So, like, I think T-Suns are still very happy into Imperial Knights. They're still relatively pleased into Chaos Knights. But yeah, I agree. Like, they definitely got hit pretty hard. They're getting an X. There's no doubt about it. I'm just not sure how far that X is going to go. Like, are they going to drop into the 40%? Right?
Yeah.
Where are you thinking they're going to end up?
I think that the people who used to play Thousand Suns have other armies that they're going to do now because it's going to be a struggle bus.
I could see that. I could also see them honestly ending comfortably at that 50% win rate level. But yeah, I agree. Like, I could see them going lower. I just don't know what the impact is going to be. It's going to take a few months for us to see it, I think. But it was significant, man. No joke. Thousand Suns are a loser here. They're a legit loser. And then the last Chaos faction, the World Eaters. I think World Eaters are one of the biggest winners. I hear a lot of people talking about how they're just a big side grade army. Yep. Where do you come down on that?
I'm not sure I would call it a side grade. I would say that this is a major shift in the internal balancing of the codex, which means that you now can have a lot of build variety, which means that you can handle more different metas and terrain packs and missions.
Mm-hmm.
And that is never bad.
Mm-mm.
Like it's a thing to evaluate if Exalted 8 bounds and stuff are now worth it again. Overall, like they seem fine. But it's like things here just seems good now.
So when I'm looking at World Eaters, basically everyone at this point, you know that Exalted 8-bound went down in points significantly. 8-bound went down in points fairly significantly. Angron went down in points. Karn went up in points, and Forge Fiends went up in points. I think Forge Fiends probably went up 5 points too many, but whatever. They're still usable at that point cost. I probably wouldn't take them because there's better choices in World Eaters now. But 2 other changes that I think a lot of people are ignoring right now. One, Slaughterbound, they got +2 strength. So if you're not running solo Slaughterbound, I think you're a psychopath at this point. Those things are so value for 85 points, especially in Berserker Warband. But, and here's the big one, the kicker. They added an FAQ to the errata, or whatever, in the errata/FAQ thing. They added a section that says, in Vessels of Wrath, can you still use your Vessels rules even if you resurrect Angron? And they said yes. That is critically important because now Angron has gone down in points. In Vessels, which is already a pretty good detachment, you can run Angron. If Angron dies and you end up resurrecting him, you still get to use your Vessels of Wrath detachment, which, oh geez, what's going on with my camera? Which is very, very profound because previously you could not because of the way it was worded. So you would still get to choose a favorite of Khorne, a Blessing of Khorne roll for 3 of your units, even if you want to resurrect Angron. And I think that's very, very powerful. There's some really interesting stuff you can do in these detachments now. Berserker Warband is probably still top dog. Honestly, Demonkin of Khorne is really, really solid still. I mean, heck, in Demonkin, there's a world where you might just run, a freaking Angron and a, Scarbrand together at this point. And in Vessels of Wrath, you can run Angron and still give your Vessels buffs out, which is very, very interesting. So I think World Eaters are very happy. If it's still big stopping Knight meta, World Eaters are going to run through big stopping Knights. A Slaughterbound with a unit of X8 bound will clean up a big Knight. And that's a lot. That's a lot. So that's where I am on this. I think World Eaters are one of the biggest winners, personally. I think you're feeling a little skeptical towards me on that one, though.
No, I agree.
Well, then we agree. I love that. I love it when we agree. And we're going to wrap this up, guys. We're going to go into the Xenos, and then we're going to give you your top 3 winners and your top 3 losers. Xenos go a little bit quicker. Some of the changes in Xenos weren't that big, and one of the armies, Orcs, boys, got big changes. So let's go through these. Elves, slight buffs to Eldar. Astromend, Dire Avengers, Wraithblades, went down up by a few points. Hawks went up by 10 points and 10 mans.
Eldars are winners here just because they didn't really get changed.
Yeah, I don't really think they should have been changed. I think Eldar are basically good where they are, to be honest with you. But they're also probably pretty happy because I couldn't understand arguments for having nerfed them, right?
Yeah, like I am surprised that Fire Dragons didn't get hit more. Because typically when they see a unit being used like that so much, they typically give like a little slap on the wrist at least for internal balance purposes.
Yep.
But I think they might be scared of just removing Eldar again competitively.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Yeah. And then we look at Drukhari. Basically nothing happened for the Dark Elves. Dark Elves are getting a new book. And honestly, I may have been a naughty boy and seen some of it. It looks pretty freaking sick, actually. It looks really cool.
I've seen all of it, and it looks really good.
I may have just been saying a euphemism for seeing all of it as well. It looks pretty freaking sick, man. They did get a 15-point buff for if you want to take a unit of 2 Chronos, which I don't think anyone would, but if you want to, there you go. And so they're just in holding pattern, waiting for that new book. Which, if you're a Drukhari player, I think you're going to be happy. To be honest with you guys, like you're going to have a good time with it. It's not busted broken, but there's some cool stuff in there. They don't get a check mark. What am I talking about? They're just in holding pattern. And then a strong contender for biggest loser, GSC. I hate what they did to GSC Sheffield. I hate it.
I don't think they got hit as much as you are saying.
Okay. All right. Let's do it a little bit. So let's say what happened to them, and then I would love to hear your piece on this. So effectively what happened is they change their go. This is basically all focused towards Host of Ascension, right? They change their go back into reserves rule, so that if you could just uppy downy at the end of your opponent's turn instead of like when they're shot reactively when they're shot, which is pretty. That's a pretty huge difference. So now like you can actually shoot the army without being worried about just losing the game because you shot your opponents, which I think that matters. Then you've got their crits on 5s ability, which has now just gone to like what was it? It's gone up to 2 CP instead of 1 CP, where it was previously 1 CP. That strategy?
Like that, yes.
Yep. That's a very, very big difference. Then, way more importantly, they changed the Primarch's ability. If I'm not mistaken on that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Primus had full rerolls. Now it's basically +1 to hit.
Yeah, it's
modified +1 to hit, but yes.
Because what they used to do is the Primus would drop down. He would give full rerolls hit to a unit that's hitting on 5s, but they're also critting on 5s with both lethal and sustained. Now they're dropping down. They can still get lethal and sustained on 5s, but it costs 2 CP, not 1 CP, and it's just +1 to hit. It's like, it is such a dramatic difference in the amount of trauma that can inflict on your opponent. It is so traumatic, and the Primus only went down by 10 points with this big of a change. That was really profound, man. In addition to that, your solo Achilles Ridge Runners went up by 10 points, which they probably should have. Your 5-man Jackals went up by 10 points, which they probably should have. You did get some points buffs on Pure Strain Gene Stealers and 10-man squads, your Hybrid Metamorphs, and the Abominant, but it's like, they got nothing good, and they got a ton that's real bad. Like, where do you see that this is okay? Because I see this as a nuke from orbit.
Because Final Day wasn't touched at all, and that still works fine in singles.
I mean, I like Final Day. I think Final Day is good, but are you telling me that's just like an easy pivot for the entire codex to go to?
Yes, and also Biosanctic units got a lot cheaper as well.
Biosanctic units did not?
No, the Abominant got cheaper.
Yeah, it's just him.
Yeah, so...
He only went down by 10 points, from 95 to 85.
But still...
You're looking at 35-point buff totals?
Yeah, that... I mean, GSE is still probably fine-ish. It just means that... I mean, the reason Host of Ascension is good is because Knights were good. And that wasn't because they killed Knights. It was because they didn't let Knights leave the deployment zone.
Oh, they could pick up 2 bigs in a turn.
Yeah, but like that, they still couldn't get on objectives, right? And I think calling it nuked from orbit is wrong.
Okay.
But it is bad. They lost big on this. But calling it nuked from orbit is a bit too much of an overstatement, I think.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll compromise with you. I'm going to give them 2 X's. I was going to give them 3, and then we can hash this out on the last round. Leagues of Votan, nothing changed. I did hear in the chat that the Grotmus detachment changed. Do you know anything about that, Chateau?
Yes. Give me one moment. I had it right here.
Yeah.
Heart band.
What was the big change on that one?
So let me find the comparison. God, I had it here. I used to be organized.
Ah, you're beautiful, Sil. You can be beautiful and organized. Don't worry, D. Crombie. It's coming, baby. Gork and Mark are coming up.
So they previously it was each time a League of Votan model from your army makes an attack with a weapon excluding blast weapons that targets the closest eligible target or a target that is within engagement range of the model's unit, you reroll the hit roll of 1, and if your unit was a Khal, Einhir, Halfguard, or Uther, you improve the armor penetration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's each time a League of Votan model from your army makes an attack with a weapon that targets the closest eligible target, or targets a target within engagement range of that model's unit. Notice, the blast exception is gone.
Oh.
And It's reroll a wound roll of 1.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yes, and the Bastion shield got changed because, there's yield points now. So then before it was Armor of Contempt if you were within 12. Now it's you can spend a yield point to make it 18 instead. Right? That's a thing. That gives you yield point manipulation again, which is
okay.
big.
Okay.
And then there's like small stuff like that. I don't have like a full I don't know if there's more, but that's a thing, right?
I'm also reading in the chat that Brandfast got hit pretty hard. Let me pull up their FAQ real quick, see if I.
So the strat got significantly nerfed. You can no longer jump out at the end of the opponent's shooting phase and then make a charge, or rather, you can't do it at the end of your shooting phase and then make a charge.
Oh, okay. So that, all right, I see how that is, because it used to be so. Okay, got it. So they can't make that charge anymore, and that actually really does change their board presence abilities.
They fixed that weird vehicle strat.
Interesting. Okay, so overall, Grotman's got a lot better. Brandfast got an FAQ that definitely nerfed a really, really strong strat for them. Man, I feel kind of weird about this one because obviously clearly I missed Leagues of Votan. Sorry guys, I just missed those. My bad. I didn't prep for those. So Shetzel, where do you put them? I'm just gonna bow to you here.
I think that there were no significant changes. Brandfast got nerfed. The Grotmans got better. It's like a plus and a minus. So it's like.
So there's like
Yeah.
Here playing. Fair play.
I think Votan is still underexplored. I think.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think there's a hobby lag because I think Delve with 50 Berserks is a thing. Because imagine Guard Bridgehead, but with toughness 6 models with a 5-up fingerplane.
I don't want to hear anything about Guard Bridgehead ever again. All right, gents. Orcs are coming. Give me we got one more and then we're gonna get to orcs, all right? And Shetzel's gonna run us through Necrons because he is the Necron king. He actually owns his own dynasty. He is the dynasty ruler. Not many changes for Necrons. Like 2 points changes and 1 rule change.
But very significant one though. Because the Silent King is something that you see in a lot of lists. One of the things that he's been doing is that he's been in a Star Shatter gunline with a lot of bigs, right? Ignoring mods with the command barge or a overlord that gave the real once you hit and wound as well, right? So you had the best of both worlds. Now they no longer ignore mods.
It's huge.
Which is big.
Huge.
However, one of my most annoying things with playing like an Awakened Dynasty Warrior list is not getting on the objective turn 1.
Right.
So what you can do with the Silent King now is that you can start within range of half your army. They all run up the field with +2 to move. You advance the Silent King to the other half of your army, and then they also move up with +2 to move. Right? Because it's not a pick things within the start of your movement phase, it's just an aura on him.
So it becomes Magnus.
Yeah. So and you know what +2 move does in a T-Sun's army.
Oh yeah.
And it also means that he himself actually gets to go where he needs to be now. Right? Yeah, like that's I think that's good and healthy for all the other builds of Necrons. And the Silent King was I people can arrest me for this, but I think he was the only thing left that could ignore modifiers in an aura. Everything else was 1 unit with a strat, or just like hit modifiers, not wound, not damage, not saves.
Yep. Okay. All right. So how would you rate that total?
I think that it nerfed some builds, but I think it's healthier for Necrons in general.
Okay.
Like I think the builds that were winning got better.
I think Praetorians getting cheaper is actually nice, because Praetorians always strike me as a good data sheet.
Praetorians have like always been just about there.
Yeah.
And I think that like they need to be seriously considered for use again.
Cool. So ultimately,
maybe I get an excuse to paint mine now.
If I'm hearing what you're saying, it sounds like they're just like okay, you didn't want to lose ignore modifiers, but if you had to exchange it for something, this is something you're happy to exchange it for.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they're not really losers here. They're not really winners. They're like, all right, we have something different.
They are big winners because Challenger is gone.
Oh yeah, that's probably huge for Necrons. Actually,
remember that, gentlemen. Challenger is gone.
Yeah, dude. I honestly, well, listen. Real talk. We could put a check mark next to every army in the game because Challenger's freaking gone. I so much hate the Challengers. All right, Grots and Gits, let's do it. A lot of things about the Orks. I'm not going to declare a wall right now because it's loud and my baby girl's asleep, but I'm pretty pumped up about this. I think Orks have some really, really cool stuff coming up. There are some extremely interesting things we can do with Orks. They are not going to dominate the meta. They are not going to be crushing everyone, but they are back in the game, and you will be able to comfortably run them in a variety of different scenarios. There was an entire host of points buffs. I'm just going to run through them relatively quickly for you guys. But there were rules changes that changes a lot. So the points buffs. Beast buffs on Squiggus were down by 20 points. This does mean that if you're playing Warhorde, you might want to run him with a the Edwabba's Kill Chopper to give him dev wounds. That is actually fairly interesting on him because then he'll go back to 130. That is not necessarily a bad choice. Big Mech with Shock Attack Gun down by 5 points. Basically doesn't matter at all, but it's fine. Boss Snickrot went down 20 points from 95 to 75. This is massive. Boss Snickrot was always way overcosted at 95. At 75 points, he is a actual loan up that Orks can take, and he serves a freaking purpose. It is beautiful and very exciting. I like it a lot. He can always teleport back into your opponent's backfields. He's just an annoying piece of garbage for 75 points. We like this. Then, Flash Gits went back down to 160 for 10 of them. That means Tactical Brigade might kind of be back on the radar, which is actually very good. I'm excited because I want to see more Tactical Brigade players. I know Tactical Brigade, people got a kind of a bad taste in their mouths for it after some of the nerfs that didn't make any sense at all. We had Ludas went back down to 100 points. That's good. That means Tactical Brigade and Dreadmob have a little additional play. We have Meganovs went down by points, which ultimately doesn't mean very much, but it might mean we get maybe an extra unit in a Bully Boys army. So maybe that is interesting for me. As a matter of fact, there is a very specific thing in Bully Boys I am kind of considering right now, which we're about to get into. Then we saw Mazrok Scragbad went down by 20 points. I don't think that's enough, but I will say at 145 points, I'm willing to try him again in both Warhorde and Tactical. I really like him with Stealth and Tactical, and I love him in Warhorde with with access to -1 to be wounded still and crits on 5s, things like this. So it is a possibility. Then we go for Warbikers. They went down by 5 and 10 points respectively. Ultimately changes basically nothing. The Warboss and Mega Armor goes down by 10 points. This is actually good because now you can have a sub 100 point very tough unit with the Super Cyborg body, which means I love him. I love Super Cyborg body on him because that guy suddenly he's a 2-up armor save, T6, 7 wounds, 5-up invuln, and a 4-up Fiona Pain. He's one of the better skirmishers in the entire game. That's a big problem for opponents to deal with. Like, are you going to shoot him? No, you'd be stupid to shoot him. Shoot other things in the army, not him. And he also has access to -1 to be wounded via the strat, right? But more importantly than any of these points nerfs, we've got some other things that have happened. First off, the big one, Gazgul Mecher, Tracker Prophet of Ork and Mork. He can now lead boys and he can lead knobs. Gaz with a 20-man unit of boys is a very real thing. He gives that entire squad +1 to hit. He gives that entire squad +1 to wound. And he's going to give the entire squad crits on 5s during the WA phase. And he still gives that aura of lethals. So if you're in Warhorde, that unit is going to deal generational trauma to basically anything in the game. You could run him, and he does have the Warboss keyword, which means you could run him and another leader leading a unit of 20 boys. That's kind of psycho.
Is there anything that unit doesn't kill now if they impact it?
I don't think so, man. I really don't. I think they actually kill everything with that. It's like it that unit is gonna laugh at your unkillable 20-man brick of Necron warriors with 2 crypto thralls in Oregon. It's gonna laugh at that squad. It's gonna run through it. It's kind of insane how much damage that unit does. And then you can still use your strat for crits on 5s on a different unit while they're also within range of Makari to get them lethals and crits on 5s, lethals and sustains on 5s. So this is a very interesting thing. This same unit can be run in Tactical Brigade because you can, for 1 CP, give them sustained hits. So you could do the exact same thing in Tactical, but also give them things like Stealth or give them reroll charges, things like this. That exact same unit also has play in Bully Boys. Because in Bully Boys, now that squad will have, since Gaz has the Warboss keyword, and you maybe give a Pain Boy, or you can give a Big Mech so you can't be move blocked, or even hell, a Weird Boy if you want to be teleporting them. I wouldn't do that, but that's an option. And then suddenly, that unit has WA for 2 turns. There are so many ways to run that squad, it's kind of abusive. There is a way, since he only takes up 4 spots at a battle wagon now, where you can run him with a 10-man squad of boys, or and then also run a war boss with a 5-man unit of knobs inside the same battle wagon. Like, there are so many combinations you can do with Gaz now. It's very freaking exciting. I am here for it, and the world is not. In addition to that, you can run him inside an Ardcase battle wagon now, which means the battle wagon can be T12 still, which is a huge freaking breakpoint. That's crazy. Now, actually, I think that's very profound. And don't forget, everybody, when Gaz disembarks from the battle wagon, he legally can't be wholly within 3 because his base is too big, which means he can be within 4, which means he gets like an additional inch on the disembark. So what you do is you run Gaz with your 20-man boys, squad of boys, with your Pain Boy or your Big Beck, and you also give them Follow Me Lads, so that you get plus 2 inches to move, and then you use Here We Go, so they get plus 2 inches to advance and plus 2 inches to charge, and they can move a ridiculous distance across the board. That's a lot. In addition, Killrig is now a monster instead of a tank, or instead of a vehicle. Basically, all that means is he can't tank shock, but he can heroic intervene. It means almost nothing besides that. Saw Blades went to AP2, which is cute. Commandos, this is a very big one. Now it splits into 2 different squads at the start of the game. So for your 120 points, you actually get 2 60-point squads of infiltrators, and that is a profound difference in your pre-game deployment. It also decreases the amount of units you need in your army, so you can actually build more quality, because now 1 squad of commandos is actually going to give you 2 units. That's actually a very, very big deal. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, rules as written, both of them will get a bomb squig, which is cute. Then there were a few cute rule shifts, like Killikans. Now, if you use their special ability, they only take D3 mortal wounds on a 1-2 instead of D6. Death Dreads cause D3 plus 3 mortals on the charge instead of battle shocks. Things like this. So that's what I saw from Orks. There might be some more datasheet changes once we get the actual app downloaded, but we'll see from there. Ultimately, I think Orks are a winner here. I don't think this is something where like we need to be worried about being nerfed again, because I don't think this is like crazy anything that's going to shock the meta, but it's going to give Orks the ability to play and actually play really, really well. I think it's a big win for us. We have new abilities. Those leader roles are freaking awesome. I'm going to breathe now. Real quick shout out to Mr. Mass Bro Effect for the $10 super chat. Yes, finally saying guard hit on 2s. I'm with you. Shettle, now that I have ranted on Orks and I loved on my Orks, do you have anything to talk about with the Orks from a non-Ork player's perspective?
I have seen things from people that I respect that are now transitioning back to Orks, because everyone that plays Orks loves Orks. For example, I maybe want you to play Orks against Slovakia now, just to see what you can do, right?
Love to. A scrim for our teams, just for you guys.
Because that's a thing that like needs to be looked at heavily. I know Brian Seep already before these changes considered doing Orks at LGT, because Orks weren't in the best of place, but if you were dedicated enough and good enough, you could make things happen. Mm-hmm. Now you can make murder happen.
There's some real stuff.
And so I'm just very glad that I have strength 7 blast that can shoot 2d6 indirect, right? Mm-hmm. if I didn't have that, I would be somewhat concerned.
Especially with that boys blob having a 5 at Failnapane.
That it's a problem.
Big problem.
It's a problem.
And I do know some people want to run him with knobs as well, because the knobs will then get the +1 to wound with their strength 9 or strength 10 power claws. That is a big break point as well. There's no doubt about it. And I do want to real quick shout out, because Patrick Knight is correct. The Gaz can also lead Breaker Boys. I probably wouldn't do that, but if you wanted to do the strat reserve rerollable charge thing with him, that could work. So yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff in Orcs, and I'm excited to break it down. I honestly, I think I need to get some more boys. I only have 20. I think I think if I wanted to run boys right now, I would run 2 20-man blobs in Warhorde, one with a Warboss and a Pain Boy, and one with Gaz and a Big Mech, or Gaz and a Pain Boy. And then I would just build out from there. But I don't have enough boys to build that yet, so I'm gonna have to get some more boys. But yeah, guys, Orcs are big. They're big winners. They love it. I think this is a great great one. And more importantly, there was a sense of like impending like just doom for Orc players, because no one was really having fun. And honestly, it's been really sad. Like even in our Discord, and we love Orcs. Like it's been pretty depressing just to be like, the jokes have just been, all right, nerf Orcs again. So I think I'm happy that they're gonna get to play. And none of this, it seems like it's going to break the meta in any way, which means that I don't think we have to be really concerned about getting nerfed after a few months, which is really, really cool. So, Orcs are good. Yeah, all right. Tau. Tau changes. A lot of their battle suits went down by 10 points. And Riptides, their gun actually went up to strength 10. Now, that was one of those sneaky things that wasn't actually on the Balance Dataslate as far as I could tell. So that was just a datasheet change that happened. So, guys, there might be more of this when we get all the app update on Wednesday. The Shuttle, do you think this changes Tau when we see a couple of their battle suits go down? I think it was like Broadsides, Starsides, Fire Knives, and like Farsight. Does this actually change very much?
I don't think so.
Right.
The Riptide going to strength 10 is good for like reliably killing a Rhino.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can kill the things inside, which is okay in Montcar, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people were kind of transitioning away from the Riptide anyways and going to things like Ghost Keels for reliable scoring and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this changing their overall meta dynamics. I mean, strength 10 is also very significant for killing armigers.
Yeah, that's very, very, very significant.
Will that make them better against Death Shrouds and stuff? Maybe.
Well, it does matter into just your standard battle tanks, right? Because standard battle tanks are going to be T10, and so that puts to 4s instead of 5s.
That's Predator is 11, isn't it?
Nope. It's done.
I mean, it certainly helps, right?
Yeah.
But is that the unit that they need to do stuff? I don't know.
There may be more in there as well. Like I said, there could be other.
I mean, their early pressure type lists like Montcar, Orcs, and Kroot pack might just also be better because no challenger cards, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think like the challenger cards changes their spot in the meta more than the other changes.
I can respect that. I can definitely respect that. I think Tau are one of those armies where it just seems like they have everything they need, but I understand rationally there's just something that they're missing. So hopefully this gives them that little edge where they start popping back into those 50s again. So
I also think that it's a case of the Tau only having like the pure type guy, Mr. Grundy, in Britain as like the only guy pushing something there. So then maybe we're missing something because he has his style of play.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's not like a very diverse group of people doing Tau lists. There are just a lot of people using his Tau lists.
That's a pretty fair statement. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Shout out to Tal Tactics, Mr. John. Oh crap, I can't remember his last name, but it's a YouTube channel. He actually goes through a lot of Tal stuff. So if anyone's interested in that, just big shout out to him. Five Mike gave me another super chat, and he says, "Can you call yourself an orc player if you only have 20 boys, bruh? I'm gonna get more. I'm gonna take the $5 you just gave me, and I'm gonna put it towards boys. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it, my man. So I will be able to call myself a real orc player." Then we have Tyranids, and this is actually going to be the last army. I mean, I think they're going to be happy just because they got some points reductions, but does it really change much? No.
Challenger cards being gone. I'm going to say it a lot. But
yes. The game's more healthy. We understand.
no, like Challenger cards being gone really helps an army that swarms the table and scores early, right?
You're right. You're correct. That is a true statement. They got some points changes, and I'm just really glad the freaking X-Crins didn't go down. But yeah, so there it is, guys. I think ultimately there were a lot of winners. There were very few losers. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna rank the winners and we're gonna rank the losers. Mr. Schetzel, we have 3 spots to write something down here.
All right.
Man, I'm gonna have to put a different designer on here because this won't let me edit. Here we go. We'll do this. There we go.
All right. So, big losers. I think that T-Sons were the biggest losers.
I think T-Sons were the second biggest losers, which makes them a real argument for the biggest losers.
Right.
Who would be your second biggest loser?
So it's between an army that didn't get what they needed and an army that caught strays. I think Space Wolves were probably
the
second biggest loser.
Hot take. Okay.
Just because they didn't need those strays.
Interesting. I think GSC are the biggest losers by far. Space Wolves weren't really even on my matrix for biggest losers. They definitely were a loser, but biggest loser. That's a. Could you defend that position?
I just think that they caught strays they didn't need, and Space Marines sort of exist in that fragile point where they are just good enough with certain builds that if you start nerfing them and taking things away, they just can't compete with the biggest winners.
All right, so I'm going to hard disagree on the Wolves, but I can go with you on T-Sons being the biggest. What would you put like your third then?
Possibly Host of Ascension. I wouldn't say GSC overall because
that's fair. I can accept that as well. That's a very fair statement.
Yeah, because I think there is very significant play for GSC overall. I'm not sure I even want to count Knights as like a big loser because one of their detachments just got taken out back because we don't have any data on how good it actually was, right? So it's like, I mean, and like, because one of the things you need to consider with GSC, right, is that one of the detachments that nobody ever used now got a.
Let's just do just the big losers. Let's just finish this up.
Just want to put out like they probably aren't the biggest loser because one of their detachments got a significant buff.
I actually can respect that. So I'm gonna put T-Sons 1, GSC 2. Give me one more that you thought got hit pretty dang hard.
I mean, Imperial Knights got hit hard. There's no doubt about it.
Imperial Knights definitely did actually lose relatively decently. I'm gonna go with Space Marines, to be honest with you. Vanilla Marines. I think Vanilla Marines.
I mean, if we do Marines as like a big super faction, then maybe, right?
I think Vanilla Marines in particular, like, because they got zero help, and they just get no help, and they're one of those armies that's just in a position where they needed help. So I think we got to go with Vanilla Marines, man. All right.
I mean, you could also argue that like the armies that didn't get what they needed, like Grey Knights and stuff.
Yeah, those are definitely things that you could argue as well. But Vanilla Marines also actually got kind of worse at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think they needed to get hit at all.
Yeah.
I mean, both Vanilla and Marines and Space Wolves have the same thing. Like, they caught strays they didn't need.
So, I think I got to go with Vanilla Marines between on that one, simply since they were actually pretty low in the totem pole already, versus Marines were.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So that's where I think I got to go. So I'm going to go Vanilla Marines number 3. So there you go, guys. Biggest Losers T-Sons. Number 2, specifically host GSC, because I think I tend to agree with you. Especially, we had some people in the chat mentioning that Xeno Creed actually got a little bit of a buff that I didn't see. Then we had some Vanilla Marines in there as well. And then, biggest winners, guys. Who's the number 3 winner, Shethel?
I would say it's between Eldar and Orcs.
I was thinking,
it's a very contested thing. I know who my number 1 and 2 are.
Okay.
But the fact that the Eldar didn't get hit as much as everything else means that they are a big winner.
All right, fair play.
I think Orcs fit as well, because while they didn't significantly get like a thing like this is now broken number 1, they are significant for play.
Yep.
And Deathwatch, because they just didn't. They just got random point buffs.
Deathwatch was the one I was thinking about as well, man. So I'm with you on this one. I'm very cozy putting Orcs at number 3, because I think they get some really good stuff. Their players are going to be much more satisfied, but it's not like they're, holy crap, now suddenly they're going to be on top of the meta. But Deathwatch at number 2 seems really reasonable to me, actually.
I would have put Admech at number 2.
You're going to go Admech at number 2, and you want Deathwatch at number 1?
I want World Eaters number 1, because World Eaters were, to me, were the biggest winner.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Because
I think I totally agree.
They now actually have lists that you can build that aren't just the same.
I'm actually totally in alignment with you on that one. Like, I think World Eaters, what you can see, what they can do now, like realistically, they can start a game with 3 Slaughterbound, 2 to 3 squads of 8-bound/X8 bound. If the matchup calls for it, attach the Slaughterbound. If it doesn't, now they've got just 6 units that can run around murder things. I completely agree with that. I think you're right on it. I think you're right on it now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's the end of it, guys. I think we did it. Real fast. We had someone in the chat who wanted to know if they're going to see your Admech at the WCW. Is that a possibility?
That I can already confirm that is what I'm going to do. Yes.
Ooh, spicy. Boys, the Orcs are back. I am fighting for a golden ticket this coming weekend. I'm going to probably be bringing my Dark Angels. Right now, when I'm looking at the armies that I play, I'm probably kind of torn between those Orcs and Dark Angels are really the spots where I'm looking. So hopefully I get that ticket. If I do, then I'll have to make another decision of what goes to the World Championships. But Mr. Shethel is already going, and we're very excited for him. And we appreciate all of y'all hanging out with us all freaking day. This was a blast, and love you all. You're amazing. Mr. Shethel, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Guys, your big winners are the World Eaters, Admech, and Orcs. Shethel, you have any final thoughts you want to give to the crowd?
The game feels healthier again.
Thank goodness it does.
No more like turn 1 toxic. Oh shit! I scored 7 points.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
you shouldn't be sad that you got 10 points turn 1. That shouldn't be a thing you're sad about.
That's a very fair statement. So with that, guys, we're gonna take off. Blessings. Appreciate all of you, and hope you have an amazing freaking day. Go ride a bike. Go kiss your wife. Go fight someone. Have a great day. Live, damn it, live. And until next time.